Mary Jane podcast with your host, Sean Myrie. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. And I do my way. Subscribe to all the platforms Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all podcast platforms. This episode is about extreme stuff that's going on once again in good old USA. Yes. What's going on in America right now, especially in Texas, is the war against cannabis. War against the weed. Basically, you're going to jail and prison if you smoke any weed. It's illegal. It's illegal. They say you could have CBD and this other stuff, medical stuff. That's garbage. 0.3%. What the hell is 0.3%? That's nothing. Texas is not joking. They ain't joking, ain't smoking. Now, I see looked it up. If you edibles, you go to jail for a long time. Texas, you could have a long prison in Texas just for gummies. Weed now. You can't smoke weed down there. The place you think you could with all cigars, cigarettes, what they promote through Texas and the alcohol. But I really knew why like this. The reason going on this is because, and I've seen it with other markets in Canada and the world, because cannabis is taking out other markets. So in Texas, where cigarettes smoking is probably big, drinking is big, cannabis is affected because they don't control it, right? So the tobacco, firearms, or whatever, maybe they're scared because people get licensed guns down in Texas. That people who are high might do crazy stuff, right? But I'm gonna tell you, people, if you're in Texas, man, I'm sorry for you if you love cannabis. You gotta quit. They're forcing you to quit because who wants to go to prison for years for like a couple lifts, a couple blunts, and imagine you could get locked for 6 months just with a joint. What kind of old-fashioned laws is that, people? What kind of old-fashioned damn laws is that? It's kind of hypocritical. You're gonna lose a lot of tourists, sure, especially the urban community. They're not gonna go back to Texas. Imagine even if you smell like cannabis, you get jail time in Texas. The place was hard when you get locked up. Man, this is some ridiculous shit going on, people. And please subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. If you don't know, now you know. Text no place to go and bring your marijuana or cannabis. Or you're a grower or you're doing something like black market, they get you, you're going to jail for life. If you have an ounce of weed in Texas, you're gone for life. You're gone for life. I've seen examples of people just with a couple gummies. You have like 10 or something gummies, you're gonna what are infused with cannabis, you're going to jail for a couple of years. You're going to jail for a couple of years. You could go to prison longer than probably unalive, right? Because remember, Texas, they have weed laws, so you go around with the best gun, no problem, but you can't smoke weed. You guys get that? Can't smoke weed. You can walk around with a gun as long as you're law abiding citizen. Who wants to live in Texas? And Texas, nice weather. It seems there's nice weather. It's a nice environment, seems. But man, just for cannabis, the smoke, they want to make a friggin' crime that you're going to prison for a long time. Is that ridiculous, people? People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Isn't it ridiculous going to prison cannabis, a plant. Imagine other states, a lot of states, legal. Texas, no sir. And the only reason they're doing it with Texas is because of money. It's all about money. All laws are based off of money. I hope you guys know. It's all based off the dollar. Because they don't know how to control Texas, and that's why they made it, they're so strict on it. Because they've been losing a lot of money, tons of money, right? So what's next? What's next? There are other states gonna get tough on it because most states been trying to legalize it. Man, I'm not from any of those places because I smoke a lot of weed. Try you get on my podcast. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. You guys know about Texas? What's going on? You guys know what's on in Texas? They're trying to lock everybody up just for gummies. You could serve like years and years for a couple gummies, man. You have just like five gummies, you're going down for like 5 years or something like that. Whoa. They rather you take pills, right? I know Trump is trying to get rough on the cartels, and like, how is this promoting people from not taking the other stuff? But you in strict on cannabis, the plant, it's just gonna make people go to the other shit. What, you want more alcoholics? Is that what you want? Do you want more people to die of tobacco? Is that it seems that's what they want people to smoke tobacco and drink and drive and yo, it doesn't make no sense. And then they're talking about fentanyl, how big fentanyl is in America. Guess what? If you soften up on the cannabis, maybe the fentanyl problem could go away. It could probably disappear. It does work. Worked in other places. Because if you check all places that they legalized first cannabis, right? If you check all those places that they legalized cannabis, it was drug infested cities. That's what happened. It was drug infested cities. They came to and then legalized those places first. So this whole Texas stuff with gummies and being strict on the law, guess what? It's not helping. It's just like people do other stuff, right? So locking people up just for cannabis. This is ridiculous. Nobody ever did this shit because it's ridiculous. This is embarrassing, especially if you're American and you live in Texas. Other states are laughing at you. Right? I've seen Yeo, a fake rapper, come up on platform and we was talking Vlad about the laws of what's going on in Texas and say he isn't in Texas. He's gonna skip over Texas. You know how much rappers are gonna skip over Texas if you're a fan of uh, a rapper and who's gonna do a tour and he says, okay, Texas, oh, smoke weed. I smoke weed there? Woo! I'm gone. I'm going there. Wiz Khalifa sure ain't going to Texas. He already in trouble in Europe. Wiz Khalifa for sure ain't going to no damn Texas. Because guess what? You could go to jail for gummies. Imagine what Khalifa would go there for. He would be in prison for a long time. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. We're saying it's the Mary Jane podcast. Talking about, right? I talked about Texas law, right, earlier in regard to the cannabis. But I'm talking about THC, the THC, man. THC cannabis weed, which they're strong in Texas. You're gonna get locked up with any type of cannabis product. I'm wondering how much you get for papers. Does that count? Does papers? Do you get locked up having papers? I wonder. Are people locked up for having rolling papers? I gotta find about that soon. They're probably gonna ban that shit too. You're soon gonna be banning that shit too in Texas. Are they banning people for buying rolling papers because they don't want you to buy weed? It's off the shelves. They're strict. They're going all out war on cannabis. Texas, one of the biggest states, right, have put it out there that no more, sorry, no legalization. Nope, not in that place. Mm-mm. All right. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Wonder if I get that. There. No, I can that. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. It's the Myri Jane podcast. Late night, people. A lot of things is going on. A lot of things is going on, especially in Texas. Every day I see some updates about that place. I'm glad I don't live there, man. Glad I'm not from the state. Glad I'm in Canada. Let me tell you that right now. Imagine what they give for a roach. You know what a roach is after you smoke? Imagine what they give you for a roach. Get some time for that shit. You will get time for that shit. Mm. I don't know how people do it, man. I don't know how people do it there, man. If you don't smoke weed, good. But if you are a cannabis connoisseur, what is good about Texas now? The weather, I'm guessing. The weather, that's it. The bars. So the bars are angry. The bars want weed. The people who own liquor establishments, they are for to be against the weed shit. People who own bars in Texas against the weed stuff because if people smoke weed, they quit drinking. You know, people turn from drinking to smoke weed. Tons of people. Same with the cigarettes. Tons of people. So Texas don't want to lose money to that because Texas is big with the tobacco, I guaranteed, and with the liquor. So by having cannabis legalized like certain states in Texas, the apocalypse, their industry for the bar called. Imagine there's a lot of people who are not getting arrested anymore because they're relaxed, right? They're relaxed, so the police, the law enforcement is losing jobs because too many people, these guys are relaxed, smoking and having munchies and making music. That's what's going on, right? So if you're Texas, man, and you are cannabis connoisseur, you lost, man. You lost, right? They're punishing you guys down there. New York is legal. Washington is legal. A bunch of states legal. Texas is one of the biggest states, and it is basically illegal. You only could smoke what 0.3% dry. It has to be CBD. That's garbage. I tell you, I kind of swear that garbage. That's it. And it got to be metal. That's garbage, man. It makes you wonder what is the highest percentage. I'm not talking about black market. What's the highest percent in these dispensaries all through certain states? Because I've heard, man, I've heard it's good in Canada. I tell you, way better. Canada's market. You can't even compare America's market. People always say Cal weed. Yes, Cal's good. Let's talk about the whole country. You can't compare America to Canada because Canada's federally legal everywhere. And the reason they legalized it is they were smart enough to know that the black market was making so much money, and, and the only way to stop it is legalize it. To legalize it. And that's why here in America, the weed is getting fucked up. I not trust smoking weed in America because been so strict against that people are so desperate to try to find it, they will take anything what looks like weed, right? When you're desperate for something, right? Trust me, I seen when I was young. When you're desperate for something, you attempt to do anything. So a lot of people who are cannabis consumers, people who are they're full time, like they'll do anything, take anything, and that's why people are getting hurt with synthetic weed. That's why people are starting to get diagnosed. this that they're schizophrenic and all shit. It's stuff what they're putting in, man. Trust me. And in America, especially America, I do not trust their herbs, their weed. No, no, no. I'm glad I'm up in Canada, trust me, where the weed is legalized fully, and the weed is good. I don't know about places, well, about California and certain other places, but Texas, mm-mm, don't go there. Trust me. You don't go in Texas, or you get up, locked up for smoking weed, man. 2026. It's 2026 going 2027, and we're still talking about people getting locked up for weed. What's it going to jails? Ain't enough people in Texas. There's not enough people committing crimes. So you make the weed legal. You know what happened? Let me tell you what happened. Trump being hard on these cartels. So the cartels can't bring in the drug they usually bring in because of Trump, right? AKA fentanyl. So because the drugs on the streets dry, the only thing that's been around mostly is weed. So they're saying, a minute, man, Trump actually stopped a lot of the drugs we were finding. The only thing called drugs what we see available, weed. So we gotta make it hard on the weed so we can lock people up. Because other stuff we ain't seeing. So we can't lock them up for the other drugs like cocaine, right? Or the crack and whatever, the pills. So because they can't lock up a lot of people for what Trump is, because give Trump, he locked the cartels. The cartels was going to California and Texas for sure. So he stopped a lot of the cartels from bringing in. That's what he blames them for bringing. But weed is still there. So because you can't lock people up for drugs now, you gotta make it hard on weed, and that's why us gets locked just for having a couple gummies. For having one joint, you're gonna get out 6 months. 6 months just for a joint. That's ridiculous shit. Tell you that. For 6 months, they're gonna put you in prison, jail. You gotta change those laws. Got to change the laws. What's going on now? It's some bullshit. Bullcrap, right? People please subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Talking about Texas and laws. Man, too strict. More people are gonna get incarcerated. I get what they want. They build so much prisons in Texas. Um, a way to get a lot of young people because, yeah, it's a way to get a lot of young people incarcerated. A lot of young people, they'll still do it. And when they capture them, they got, imagine, going to prison just for weed. It's not like you're doing a big operation or anything, just for weed. You years just edibles. Who died from this shit? Because I want to know. Because it seems like the whole epidemic of death from weed, that it's illegal in Texas. But that's not how much people die from tobacco and alcohol. Guaranteed, there's no comparison to the cannabis, but tobacco is legal. I guarantee it's no the alcohol is not compared. You can't compare it. Tons of people dying from drinking, driving, and dying drinking alcohol, but that's legal. Think just again, cigarettes is legal. Hundreds of thousands of people dying from that, and alcohol, car accidents from alcohol, poisoning and dying from alcohol. Those two things are legal, but the weed, the plant, they're gonna get years from it. And I never heard anybody dying from smoking cannabis. I'll tell you that. It makes sense because it doesn't make sense. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. It's the Mary Jane podcast. I